The Running Man stumbles at the box office. The Odyssey releases brand new images. Tobey Maguire, is he coming back as Spider-Man in Doomsday? Tom Cruise finally gets a much-deserved Oscar. The Legend of Zelda released its first stills. A Labubu movie is in the works. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it in this episode because there's so much more to break down in this action-packed, full episode and program of movie news on Raiders of the Lost podcast. You got me by myself. Anthony's still in Boston. We were on a little wedding trip, so I'm going to be rocking solo in this, so I'll keep going until I lose my voice, everybody. Let's start with the box office, which was kind of surprising, but not so much because Now You See Me, Now You Don't, the third film in the franchise, topped the box office. 23 million domestic its opening weekend, 75 million global. Holy hell, that is a massive performance. These movies always make $350 million at the box office, and this movie has taken the throne of box office this week ahead of The Running Man. Edgar Wright's new film starring Glenn Powell, which just opened, stumbled to a pretty low 17 million domestic opening weekend with the $28 million global haul, way behind Now You See Me, Now You Don't when it comes to the international performance. This was a bit of a disappointment for Paramount. They put a lot of money into this movie. I saw it. I thought it was pretty good. I was a little let down here and there. But man, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. That is still a very viable franchise. Clearly, Predator, Badlands had a Marvel-esque drop. It dropped about 68% at the box office. Its second weekend, it pulled in $13 million domestically. And its total globally is $136 million at the global box office right now after 2 weeks. It is the highest grossing Predator film of all time. Regretting You, in its fifth weekend, pulling $5 million at the domestic box office. It's at $75 million globally after 5 weeks. What a performer. Holy crap. Back-to-back Mason Thames here. Black Phone 2 added another $2.5 million at its domestic total. Keeper opened to $2.5 million at the domestic box office. Pretty low compared to his last couple performances with The Monkey and Longlegs. And then Nuremberg, I think it's its second weekend, $2.5 million at the domestic box office. There's also another new release that I would love to share with you. Our new movie, One Click, finally dropped. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. Just One Click Film on YouTube. Click with a K. We'll put the link in the episode description. Just go to the social media accounts. We're posting it like crazy. It's finally out. The movie we've been talking about for the last year. We shot in October, finished in January, had a little festival run, premiered at LA Shorts, but we're so happy to share it with the world. So please, if you could take a minute, go leave a comment, go leave a like. It's only 15 minutes long, so whenever you have time, watch it. And also, rate it on Letterboxd. We'd love to see some reviews. But please, if you have some time, go drop some comments and likes. The only way Anthony and I will be able to make movies for theaters is if you guys tune into our films whenever we drop them. So thank you to everyone who donated, who supported us, and please enjoy One Click on YouTube right now. Oh, man, Christopher Nolan had an Empire exclusive issue with the Odyssey, the magazine he's done before. He likes to roll his marketing campaigns very secretively and then slowly at a time. I mean, these covers and these images are fantastic, exclusive to Empire. The magazine cover is astounding. But then we also got our first official look at Tom Holland as Odysseus' son, Telemachus, plus first looks at Anne Hathaway and Mia Goth in the film. Hathaway will star as Odysseus' wife, as well as Mia Goth will play Melantho, who is basically an aide inside the palace. This is such exciting stuff. Also, Christopher Nolan confirms that The Odyssey is the first feature film ever to be filmed entirely with IMAX film cameras. To quote him, I did not destroy an IMAX camera on this film. I have destroyed several in my time, but these ones survived The Odyssey. So slowly throughout his career, he's been obviously using IMAX film cameras, but they're so loud and so bulky that you really can't do a lot of good dialogue sequences because they are just so loud on set. So this is the first time ever that him and IMAX, developing new tech, have been able to make an IMAX camera that's quiet enough to film every sequence, every shot of a film. It's never been done before like this. That's why when you watch his movies, oftentimes there's an aspect ratio change because he's switching to a different film format and a different camera for those specific sequences. But this is the first time ever A film entirely has been shot with IMAX film cameras and IMAX film, so it's so exciting. And these images are they're amazing. And Odysseus, played by Matt Damon, looks incredible. I remember I'm 35 years old. I wasn't born yesterday, so I remember when people were dogging on the wardrobe from this film, from the BTS photos and stills that people were capturing from telephoto lenses from 1,000 feet away or with iPhones, and people were they were talking so much smack about the armor and everything. It looks amazing, guys, as we mostly all expected, because we all love Christopher Nolan. Real quick, let's jump to our movie sponsor who made this amazing one-click poster behind my shoulder, movieposters.com. Go there and use our code Raiders10 at checkout to get 10% off your order, as well as our affiliate link, which will be in the episode description, which we get commission of when you use of every purchase. You get 10% off. Look at this beautiful one-click poster they made custom for us for our new movie, which you can watch for free on YouTube. They're great partners. We love them so much over there. Movieposters.com. Tom Cruise, our boy, he finally received an Oscar. He received an honorary Oscar at the Governor Awards the other night, and he gave an amazing speech where he asked everyone in the audience, for anyone who had worked with him in the past, present, or future, to stand up to pay his respects to them. And, you know, he's said in his speech that he's going to commit to keeping the film alive, the art form alive, as much as he can. He's going to give everything he can. It's just an amazing honor for arguably the biggest movie star to ever live. And, man, I love that guy so much. Guys, F1 is going to be a sequel. Joseph Kosinski is chatting about it publicly, but I also have a little insider information where I know someone who's working on F1, the sequel, and let me tell you, it's going to happen. No idea when it will come out, but they'll probably be filming it in the next 2 years. It was a huge hit for Apple, and I cannot wait for a sequel to this film. It's my number one most favorite film of 2025. But yeah, I can confirm from my source, but also Joseph Kosinski teasing that, you know, it's in the works. So he'll probably do it after he does Miami Vice. Okay, I keep seeing Tobey Maguire returning to Avengers Doomsday as Spider-Man. Is this happening? I'm not 100% sure. I keep seeing varying reports. But let me know in the comments if this is happening. And also, if Tobey comes back as Spider-Man, as Peter Parker in this new Avengers film, in Doomsday and possibly Secret Wars. I believe he got spotted in London, where it's filming. Will he be the Peter Parker and Spider-Man we know from his Spider-Man world? Or will he be a variant? I have no fucking clue. I don't know what's going on with variants in multiverses at this point compared to the comics. I know, I'm just kidding. I get it. But I would love to see Tobey back as Spider-Man. I mean, why the hell not? You got to make $2 billion on this movie because it costs so much money. So how do you get people in the seats? You put Tobey Maguire in the Avengers Doomsday movie, and it's a guaranteed $1 billion, I think, right there. Just alone. Him and Robert Downey Jr. will make $1 billion in ticket sales alone, which would be amazing. And if he has a prominent role in the film, that would be so freaking cool. Because obviously No Way Home is amazing, but he's really only in the third act. But if we have Avengers Doomsday with Tobey Maguire and Secret Wars with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, I will be so locked in. That would be amazing. He's the best. I love him. I grew up with him as my Spider-Man, so Tobey Maguire will always be my Spidey. It's kind of like who's your Doctor Who or who's your James Bond. It's basically, it's usually generally whoever was operating at the time is when people really connect to that person. But I'm excited about that. If it's true, I have no idea. The sources could be pretty sketchy because he got seen in London. It doesn't necessarily mean he's filming, but I mean, that's where they're shooting it. Legend of Zelda news, everybody. There's a couple images released, and we got our first look at the live-action adaptation of the iconic video game franchise. This will be in theaters on May 7th, 2027. I believe Wes Ball is a great filmmaker to be helming this adaptation. I think he did a great job with the last Apes movie, as well as Maze Runner films. He's a really good big-budget filmmaker and filmmaker in general. And, you know, I would love for this movie to be great, and I think clearly there's so much lore to pull from, but I've kind of been worried about the fantasy aspect of Hollywood and fantasy adaptations have really not been delivering lately, especially with the big IP stuff. And it's too bad because the fantasy genre was such a big, booming, and amazing spectacle-driven era of the 2000s and late 90s that we grew up in. And, I mean, we'll never get a Lord of the Rings again, and obviously the original Harry Potters will never get anything close to that again. But, you know, Zelda has a ton of potential and so many great stories and lore to pull from. But based off several recent fantasy adaptations in TV and film and streamers, I am a little skeptical. I will remain optimistic for my love of Zelda as a kid. This is going to be so nostalgic to watch. I just hope they can pull it off, and I hope they stay true to what the fans love about the world and the games and really just do it justice and do it the right way. And I think Wes Ball is a great filmmaker, and I think he's going to do a good adaptation here. So I'm going to remain optimistic, but still, when you look at the recent track record with fantasy film adaptations and TV adaptations in Hollywood, it's not been going good the last few years, guys, and we all know that. They all kind of just look the same. I don't know, but hopefully we get something great here. Stranger Things 5 released its first clip from Season 5. It's basically 11 doing this like sort of superhero obstacle course with Hopper. It's a lot of fun. It's great. Can't wait. Star Trek, guys, there's still some juice inside the IP. Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley are set to write and direct a Star Trek movie. They previously did Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, and Game Nights, which I fucking love. I love Game Night. Now, these guys, great filmmakers. I believe it's Jonathan Goldstein was also an actor on Freaks and Geeks. I believe it was him. Let me double check that. But he's also a great filmmaker too. No, it's the other co-director. So John Francis Daley. He's was the young kid, I think he's like the main character in Freaks and Geeks. So I mean, Star Trek is great, I think, and you know what JJ did with reinvigorating that franchise and reinventing it for the modern world of entertainment was excellent. But I will say, I hope they can capture some of the more serious stuff and more philosophical themes of this Star Trek TV series and original films, because that was always so interesting, I think. And I think if they can combine, you know, the action style with the great philosophical moments and very serious drama, I think it can really make for potentially, a resurgence of the film and the IP. Let's talk about Knives Out. New trailer for Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out Mystery has been released. It's excellent. December 12th, this hits Netflix. Limited release in theaters if you're local, usually to like LA, New York. That's where they're playing Netflix movies. This is a great trailer. It's the best trailer they've made for the film so far. And we got a great look at the plot now, where Josh O'Connor's character, who's a priest, he's the number one suspect for the other priest's death, played by Josh Brolin. And the cast is outrageously good. And it's so awesome to see Daniel Craig back as Benoit Blanc. I did not love Glass Onion, guys, and I know a lot of y'all had very mixed feelings about it too. And it seems like this is a great return to form to the original Knives Out, which is just a brilliant film. And I think it looks excellent, guys. This looks like a ton of fun, looks hysterical. And again, such an absurd cast. I mean, you have Glenn Close as like your fifth build. That's crazy. But yeah, Mila Kunis looks great as well. I'm very excited about that film. As well as Robert Eggers' next film, Werwulf, which will be shot on 35mm, but Super 35, with a 1:3:7:1 aspect ratio, which is nearly a square frame, similar to when he did The Lighthouse, but I don't think he'll be using the old cameras he used from The Lighthouse to get that really like ancient film look, which looked awesome. But very excited about this. Cannot wait. As well as Timothée Chalamet has been doing press for Marty Supreme. The guy is just a marketing whiz, I think. And first he did a sit-down and a chat with Adam Sandler. Sandler and Chalamet sat down to talk about their careers. They did it at a high school auditorium. It looked really cool. But then he did this hysterical, great marketing video. It was basically like a marketing Zoom call of his ideas of how to promote Marty Supreme. And basically his idea was, and this is all satire, guys, was to turn the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty, make them both orange for international cooperation. It's hysterical because he just commits to the bit so well. That's why he's so good on SNL. And the marketing team are just like, they're first so excited to be chatting with Chalamet about the campaign. Then they're all like, this guy crazy. But yeah, his pitch is to turn this Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower both orange, which I think is hysterical. Superman, it's been announced that Brainiac will officially be the main villain of Man of Tomorrow. This movie hits theaters July 9th, 2027. I think we all kind of predicted that recently. But I think that's a good choice. Great choice because obviously Luthor and Superman are going to have to team up, but we know Luthor will probably betray Superman at some point in the film. Wuthering Heights. New trailer for Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi dropped, and it looks excellent, guys. It's theaters Valentine's Day 2026. The production design, cinematography alone from Lena Sandgren there on camera just look fantastic. It feels like a modern-day Barry Lyndon at times. I cannot wait to check this movie out. It looks visually stunning. And Emerald's a great young voice in film. Peaches, Sophie Thatcher and Havana Rose Leo will star in a new comedy called Peaches from director Jenny Suen. The film follows two spoiled best friends who con older rich men for a living. Sounds great. There's a Labubu movie in the works, guys. So if you don't know what a Labubu is, it's the fad that people are putting on purses and pocketbooks of like the little stuffed creature. Kids like them. Girls and women love them. They're the new thing. They're the new fad. And Labubu is jumping on the opportunity to make a movie about it ASAP, I think, which is smart because the fad will die eventually. I mean, no one collects Beanie Babies anymore, and no one gives a fuck about Furbies anymore. But it seems like there's always like a little stuffed animal that's taken the world by storm, and Labubu has the world by the balls right now. Avatar dropped a couple new posters for Fire and Ash. Theaters on December 19th. Cannot wait to see this movie. Colin Farrell will star in a new film called Ordained, written by John Wick creator Derek Kolstad. The action thriller follows a priest who is targeted by hitmen after performing last rites on a mob boss who survives, but not before confessing his crimes. That's a great log line. Great log line there. Derek Kolstad, clever. I like that concept. It's original. That's fun. And I'm sure Colin Farrell will kind of be like the priest in over his head action comedy. And I think that's a really good idea. That's a great idea. Let's talk about Fallout. There's a new trailer for Fallout Season 2, premiering December 17th on Prime Video. And all y'all love that series, so go check it out. There's some news on Goonies, guys. Ke Kwan says progress is coming along on the Goonies sequel. To quote him, I know we've been trying for the last 40 years, but I feel quite good about it this time. Chris Columbus and Spielberg are developing it. We have an incredible writer. I mean, I read he turned in the second draft, and they're really happy about it. So, looks like Goonies, the sequel, wherever the hell they call it, is coming out probably in the next couple of years. Jason Momoa will star in a new biker gang series called Nomad for Apple TV. Momoa, get that Apple money. He is like one of the guys over there now. He's got a couple shows. The series is co-created by Sons of Anarchy's creator Kurt Sutter. The film follows a warrior torn between two lives in the violent underworld of New Zealand's outlaw bikers. Sounds so freaking cool. Make it edgy, make it gritty, make it violent. Let's go. George Lucas's Lucas Museum of Narrative Art will open on September 22nd, 2026. It's almost done with construction and the stills and concept art, and it looks incredible. The exhibits will include life-size Naboo starfighter and General Grievous on his wheel bike, 2 theaters, 33 galleries, an event venue, and a library. Imagine having a wedding there. Holy crap. Vintage comics, including ones from Marvel and DC. Original concept art for Indiana Jones. Oh, man, I'd love to see that. A mythology exhibit with the earliest stories from Egyptian, Greek, and Roman gods, and his own Frida Kahlo paintings. This is really incredible, and I know he's spent a ton of money on this. He has a co-investor, and, you know, George Lucas opening up a museum, I think, is just so cool because he's meant so much to culture, especially in film, of course, and his movies will live on forever, and he's had such an impact on so many people's lives just with one IP, which is astounding. And, you know, he changed movies forever. He really is one of those few filmmakers that had a massive imprint on the trajectory of cinema, of art, in a contemporary world, in a constantly evolving state of cinema and entertainment. From the 70s to now, it's changed so much. But to still be a top dog and to still have a franchise and an IP and being the creator of something that still has fandom around the world, feverish fandom around the world, is just a testament to his genius. And I would love to, as soon as this opens up, check out the Lucas Museum. Sign me up. Sounds so cool. Just alone from the Indiana Jones concept art, which I'm sure a lot of it has never been publicly released, and it'll be the original versions. But man, can you imagine what kind of collections and art he has that he's going to put out there? Holy crap. I cannot wait. So let's talk about Ryan Coogler. He says that his next film will be Black Panther 3. And I think that's pretty awesome. Get back to the big IP stuff. I bet you he goes the route of big IP, original IP, big IP, original IP. Because obviously he's shepherding the Black Panther franchise. He may as well keep doing them. Teaser record breaks happened with Toy Story 5 and Devil Wears Prada. Both dropped teasers last week. Devil Wears Prada was 20th century's biggest teaser ever. 185 million views in 24 hours. Holy fucking shit. And it's just Meryl Streep walking into an elevator, and then Anne Hathaway. That's insane. The hype for that movie is unreal. Then Toy Story 5 was the third biggest animation teaser ever. 142 million views in 24 hours. Sharknado, but you never hear that. Thought you'd hear that name for a while. An origin movie is in the works. Releasing next year, so I bet it's going to be... maybe it's how the movie was made? Is it going to be like Disaster Artist? I guess. Or origins of how the Sharknado was created. I don't know. I don't really care. Monarch, first teaser from Monarch. Legacy of Monsters Season 2 dropped, hitting Apple TV on February 27th. We have another mob project in the works. Nicolas Cage will star as Carlo Gambino in John Woo's next film. What? The film is a crime thriller that tells the story of a journalist who uncovers hidden truths about the Carlo Gambino after his sudden death. Seems pretty interesting. Gambino is one of I think the most well-known names when it comes to mobsters, and I think it's smart to finally get some projects going about it recently. SpongeBob, there's a new trailer for SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants, December 19th, guys. It's basically a Christmas week release. Varanasi, the first poster and some teasing bits for S.S. Rajamouli's next film are just dropping. He's the guy who made RRR. I'm definitely going to be logged in for this film. Cannot wait. And final bit of news. Insidious 6 has wrapped filming, directed by Jacob Chase, starring Lynn Shay, Amelia Eve, and Brendan Perea. This will hit theaters August 21st, 2026. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning into this mad-packed episode of Movie News. Again, please go watch One Click for free on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it if you could give it a like, leave a comment, keep that traction going. This is how Anthony and I start making movies for theaters, man. You guys you've been supporting us for so long, and it's our dream, so we appreciate everyone who goes and watches and also rate it on Letterboxd. Leave a review. We'd love to see whatever you think about it and leave some kind words, hopefully, but write whatever you want. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. Subscribe on YouTube, 5-star ratings on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Anthony will be back in studio the next time we record, I promise. In the meantime, take care. This episode was executive produced by our chosen one patrons, Nicholas Martin and Jacob Kossler. Raiders of the Lost Podcast is a Mirror Image production.